We've broken Twisted Tower yet again, found some more uses for the low FPS strat, so this is likely to be my last PB for this game. So I got a pretty good run here at 15 minutes, 16 seconds. So off we go, we're dashing off the beach. Beginning, if you've watched the other two videos I've posted recently, it's going to look pretty much the same, but there'll be some major differences as we get into the middle section and also the later sections of the run. So we pick up our mallet on the beach. Continue to do these nice little dashes through here.
Welcome, chap.
Try to clean up the lines, hit our switch.
I'll be the first to admit it's nice for a change.
Into the Twisted Tower we go. Huge shoutouts to the community for helping to route all of this stuff and make this possible. As you will see when we get into the changes, this is very close to not working. Everything just worked out perfectly. This not only worked mechanically, but also was enough to save time. We're gonna dash on through to the elevator over here so we can go up to the hotel. Grab our handy dandy ticket, plug it in, and there we go. Our first big change will come in the hotel in terms of getting the red key, which opens up one of the two paths, whichever one the game gives us. We do have a pretty definitive preferred method this way. We like to go left here in the hotel, right in Mermaid Pals, and left on the final rooftops. We'll get to those later. For now, what we're going to do is go into low FPS, crouch, which is going to start desyncing our camera for whatever reason, which allows us to just grab this key through the floor. And we don't have to go and hit the other switch in the pistol fight room. Just grab our key, open up our side door, and we're out. I'm using low FPS to jump up here, bypassing this fight. A lot of people over the past two videos have asked about how I do the low FPS swapping. Get down to 3 FPS with a hotkey. Use a software called reroute, which I will leave linked down in the description, along with the Speedrun Discord if you want to come try out this run for yourself and try out all of these crazy tricks. But we hit our switch into the bedrooms. We'll go pick up some tickets just for safety. So we can open up a little container along the way.
Bravo, chap, bravo.
Here in the bedrooms, we're going to use our low FPS yet again to jump over this gap.
I've informed poor little Charlotte.
Bypass all of these things, grab our red key,
Careful though.
and jump on back.
Tricky.
The Tickle and Tommy gun for later. The weapons are very important that we pick up now. Because of how much we skip, we need a lot of stuff for the final boss. And the more that we skip, the less we get. Some clean paths through here. Still have not managed to find a skip for this little segment, so we're just gonna have to take the long way around. And I did at the start of this level, but every time we go into a load screen, once we're done with that load screen, we can actually move before the fade-in's done. So every time we start a level, I am doing a little bit of blind movement there. Which comes into play right here. You actually have to flick your camera down once you get into this. You can break the grate underneath you and start moving. If everything's done correctly, I just appear on the floor. And we were done with our first level. We'd have to get back to the elevator so you can get back to the lobby. As I mentioned, if you watched the two previous videos, this probably looks pretty similar besides that key grab. But once we get into the lobby and our grappling hook is obtained, that's when things are going to be a little bit different. A quick trip down here. Have to get down into the basement. Open the key door. And then from here, we just need to go and hit the switch to open up the gate, and we can obtain our harpoon gun. Or grapple hook.
Her. Not really. She's snuggled up, safe and sound at the tower top.
With this, we can connect to those blue dots on the wall or the ceiling. You can also activate these little triggers, which are sometimes needed for puzzles. Very important for the final boss.
The twisted beast is getting hungry.
We're using low FPS to just jump across this. Save a second or two.
I'm afraid I
We're going
won't
to be picking
able
up
to
our
stop
Mermaid
them
Palace
from
ticket here.
reeling off her
And this is where things are going to change. So here, I'm going to hold back as I load in and then to the right. I'm going to jump up because the door to the boots, which we are now in, kind of overlaps with the door trigger that we just left. So we can actually get up to this part early, break that, use our grappling hook that we just got, get into here. And now we have the trampoline boots early, which isn't a big deal. It's not going to sequence break anything quite yet, but it's just a little bit of convenience to have this now. Because we don't actually have the twisted token in order to access this section from the lobby. We can't leave through the door that would normally block us. We're going to walk forward enough that it actually hits a trigger that's important later on for leaving the tower, but we're going to go back through, and here we're going to hold back as we go into the lobby, kind of like we did before, into the left corner and crouch here. And that's going to take us to the other door, where we got the Mermaid Palace ticket. Now we can re-exit through here back to the lobby. So these two areas just have kind of an overlapping door, and by holding back, we get rid of the trigger that would normally activate to send us back where we just came from, so we can hit the other one, as long as we jump into the right spot. So here we have a forced fight arena. At this point, we have memorized the spawns pretty well. As long as we don't stand too close to them, they will always spawn in the same place. Which is why I'm making sure I'm a good distance away, so we can guarantee those spawns. And once they're spawned in, we can get closer so we don't miss any of the shots. Luckily, getting a pretty good amount of Tommy gun ammo from these enemies. The loot distribution is not great for how little we actually loot. There's a good chance we get nothing at all from a body. We can get food or med packs, which is pretty decent. It's not the worst thing in the world. We can get some tickets, which we don't need in the run anymore. We're only going to really spend about 150, and as you can see in the bottom left, we already have 200. Or we can get ammo, and because we only have the Tommy gun, that's the only ammo that we're going to get at this point. We're just hoping to see those drops. Basically enough to kill off everything in this arena without having to use the hammer. Pick up some more stuff. The hammer, take out the telephones, so we can save the Tommy gun ammo for this final Buggy Bear. So even though we went and got the boots, we're going to proceed to Mermaid Palace as intended. We're going to continue the natural order flow of the game, but just keep in the back of your mind that we already went and got the boots. We get the right side palace, spawn between the two paths here, which is great. That's good luck. Won another coin flip. Hopefully in the future we'll find a way to set the seed so we can grind these out without actually having to reset over these coin flips. But for now, we got lucky. Gonna proceed it through here.
Damn, this place
Use low FPS to jump over the walls yet again.
Smells like
One there.
piss.
And try to avoid these enemies on the floor and do another jump over this wall. While we tried to avoid enemies here in the Crimson Pearl section of Mermaid Palace, I'm gonna take a small moment to get a little bit of Tommy gun ammo. That is a guaranteed spawn there, as long as we spend a few tickets. Plug in our code of 1326. Luckily this never changes. And we're going to reload to despawn some of those enemies we ran past. The flaming seahorses can just teleport to you while you're trying to set this up, which is rather annoying. Here we're going to pick up the Marble Magnum. Very important weapon, very good. High damage option for the final boss. We use low FPS and a grapple to pull ourselves through this wall pause so we can get our FPS back up. Which clips us out of bounds, jump up on top here. Navigate this wall and we can jump down to the end level trigger. Bypassing a big arena and some more running around. The Fecal Waste section of Mermaid Palace doesn't really have any skips that we can do. We gotta make sure we have our slide path optimized. Don't do anything silly like fall into the void, because that is a huge time loss. Don't want that to happen. Just gonna try to outrun the spiders. Luckily we can get two more things of Tommy gun ammo here.
Mascots have been disappearing in this sewer.
Now we just need to make sure that we take these lines as crispy and cleanly as possible.
Here they come, and I don't think they're ever going to stop without that shotgun and
If we do things right, we can actually bypass some of these spider spawns. We got one spider there, and one more on the way out. Not too big of a deal. And now that we're back here, we're gonna grab this purple twisted token and go back to the lobby. So this is where having the trampoline boots comes in quite a bit. Normally you would actually have to go through the next area, the Clown Casino, to get the token to get those boots, but we're gonna route in those upgrades in just a second. So first we need to get our dash, and we actually need to go get the ticket for Clown Casino. We will still be visiting it to a very small degree. Spin these around so you can cross the gap. I mentioned following the void would kill you and lose a lot of time. This room is special, and that if you void out, because it's a tutorial section where you're kind of meant to potentially fail, they just void you back to the start of the room, which saves a bunch of time on the backtracking. But instead of going straight to Clown Casino here, we're actually going to use those boots. The fact that we unlocked the front of the Twisted Tower to go back out, and we can start going towards the fairgrounds. This is a major sequence break, kind of a level reroute. This is the level that typically follows Clown Casino, so we need to open up the door. This is more so that we can actually get back out, because we have another way in, so we're going to do a low FPS jump to get out here instead of taking another trampoline. Use a low FPS to jump up on top of this statue, and then once more to get up on top of the map. Slide our way around this corner, and we can drop into the, essentially the exit of the return path for the fairgrounds. Do some dashes with blind movement, pick up our red twisted token. And we're immediately going straight back into the Twisted Tower. We're doing all of this to basically cut down on the amount of times that we revisit the lobby and having to take the elevator down. So with the red token in hand, we can go and get our handy dandy double jump. Who doesn't love a good double jump? You could potentially actually get this double jump right after you get the boots earlier on in the route, but it doesn't really save time, because you want to do all of this with dash. Dash saves a ton of time in terms of your movement, even over just sliding around. So we get our double jump there, and we need to climb up this tower to get the ticket. You can use that key grab low FPS strat that we used back in the hotel to grab this ticket. Slight fall here, just because the movement doesn't always want to play ball. But because there's such a disparity in terms of height from the floor up to the ticket, it makes it really hard to time the grab, especially when you're playing at 3 FPS. So if you really want to go for it, you could save maybe a couple seconds without having to climb all the way up there. But don't worry, we'll be seeing that low FPS grab here in just a second. So now we actually have 2 tickets we can plug in. See there, we get both the Clown Casino and the Lightspeed tickets, and just plug them in at the same time, which is pretty cool to see. Now there's not much that we actually need here. We can technically go up to the Lightspeed area, but the reason we're stopping in here is for the red key. Because there's a really long section that takes about 8 minutes or so in Lightspeed without the red key. We're going to briefly stop in here, position ourselves just right, use that low FPS crouch to desync our camera, raise up, grab the red key here, and while it's actually all we need from this level, we can't leave until we actually hit the 3rd switch. There's a gate blocking us, so we're going to use a low FPS jump off this cube to get up here, hit the 3rd switch. We don't need to mess with the other 2. We don't need to run around and mess with the cubes in the back hallways. We can just simply leave. So that's it for Clown Casino. And once again, instead of now going down and going to the fairgrounds and getting the boots, so we've already done all of that, we can simply take our ticket for Lightspeed and go up to it. If you watched like the previous video I put out, the rest of this will look essentially the same. Some slight optimizations in the movement, and a little different boss fight. Well, that kind of concludes the major reroute for this game as of now. Grab our big boy cannon, the rocket launcher. Try not to get hit from these enemies because they do apply hit stun, which just kind of slows you down. Because we have that extra key that we picked up, we can just go ahead and open this door towards the end of the level, essentially. Bypass the entire level, which is really cool. I have to make our way up to the rooftops. So here I'm just checking my ammo to make sure I have what I need. We're going to be picking up some more Magnum ammo because with 3 guns, it's a little bit scary to go into the boss fight. So you need to do a lot of damage, break a lot of things, and you don't want to have to be scrambling for ammo in the middle of the boss fight. And here's where we have the last coin flip, left or right path. The left is faster, and that's what we get here, thankfully. And a small little shortcut, instead of actually activating the grapple points, we can just land on that beam, bypass both of those, clear this jump, and up here we can grab some more ammo. So we're gonna get some rockets, use the hammer to break these open, grab some more Magnum ammo, get lucky on that box. We're gonna upgrade our cannon to have homing rockets, get in a little extra food, and finally 2 more things of Magnum ammo. Our ticket up to the top, plug it in, there we go. And the only thing left in the run is the boss. This is where we need the grapple hook to activate the switches, which forces all of these red dots to come out, and we just have to break all of them. So, we can use the homing rockets, kind of circle around Magnum to finish them off. Because this likes to rotate around, it's actually found that you can shoot through the hot air balloon here. You can look at the cursor to see when it changes colors. Not quite here, but in just a few seconds you'll see me try to shoot through the balloon at spots that I can't see to save a little bit more time. Use the last of our rockets.
You're going to ruin the final act. Take him out, Vince.
Go back to the Magnum. And here I'm just looking for that reticle to turn red, so I know how to aim. I got 2 more shots, probably 1 more thing to break. Just gotta activate it real quick. Looking for that red reticle. Bam, there we go. 15 minutes, 16 seconds. Twisted Tower hasn't even been out a full week at this point, and this is what just a handful of runners in the community, myself included, have managed to route together and optimize to a point, which is incredible to see. The modern FPS scene just continues to be way too good at breaking games, so shout out to everyone in the community that's been helping put this together. The fact that this level reshifting, reroute has actually like worked out and been faster is such a cool thing to see for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. So this will probably be my last run I post about Twisted Tower, just because I'm pretty happy with this time. Unless something major gets found, I'll probably move on to other projects. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more if you want to see more videos like this for future games. Got plenty planned. Sprawl 0 comes out in just a couple of weeks. That's going to be another big one for me. But if you want to watch these runs live or just me play games in general, you can come over to twitch.tv/BloodThunder, chat it up with us. And I'll see you in the next one.